vice versa. So episode 1 of Vice Versa came out today, and we're gonna talk about it. Hello, my name is Jordieseay. Thanks for coming by to See It My Way, and today we are talking about Vice Versa, episode 1 in a Ratchet explanation. So what had happened was, we start with Talle, right? And which is hilarious. Okay, it's not hilarious. It's ironic that his name is Talle. I'll explain that in just a minute. He is a colorist, which I think is so cool. I don't think we've seen where someone has been a colorist as like their job title in any of these series. So we're changing it up. We're doing new things. Also, can I just say that the intro for this is probably one of the most beautiful intros that I've seen. Like, it's really pleasant to look at. And he's, I guess, on an interview board where he's talking to these, I guess they are also colorists, or they are people that work in the media, photography, video media field. One of the questions that comes up is to describe us as a color. When I tell you, I cackled to the high heavens. First guy, fine. He's like, you seem lively, but you seem like you have something on your mind. Then he describes them as rotten carrot orange. It's almost like he's giving an adjective to the type of person they are, and then the color to describe their aura, which is an interesting way to describe a person. And I do love that they overlaid the color when he described them. That was a nice little touch, so we can actually visually see what was going on. GMM, you're doing things. Y'all are GMM. What are y'all doing? Who's the creative director? I need to know them. I need to meet them. Next guy, he's like, you're calm and passive, then calls him a pickled cucumber green. You're cool as a cucumber, but you're sour. Y'all get where he's going with these? Then we get to the token white man. He goes, you look serious. You remind me of horse manure brown. When I tell you, I cackled so hard that my larynx almost came out of my throat. Then, like, because he said it in Thai, he was like, oh, wait. Horse shit brown. I was like, oh my God.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Facts, though. He was really serious. He seemed like he had a bad attitude. I mean, honestly, it is what it is. Then we move on, and they're having like this little dinner or whatever, seaside. I don't know if you guys have watched The Devil Sister. Our girl Piploy here played a girl named in The Devil Sister, and she was really the devil. But I give you a second chance here, girl. You seem cool here. She took him to go see Puen, which is, I guess he's like a movie star or like a celebrity of some sort. They go to meet him at the airport because, you know, he's getting off his plane and they want to be the first fans. And she says she's a VIP. Okay, get it right. End up being at the wrong gate. Like what? But our boy Talle has luck on his side. For now. For now. And he ends up meeting Puen in the bathroom, and he gives him a cute little hat with the alpaca that looks like a llama.
Look at this dude.
Basically, Puen was like, whoever drew this must be cute. And I guess Talle thought he was talking about, like, you know, his friend. He was like, oh, well, you know, I drew it. And he was like, nah, I meant what I said. He said, I know you drew it, and you're cute as fuck. Talle gets commissioned to be in a movie, and it so happens that Puen is also in this movie. And he ends up like breathing on his face and stuff, and like getting real close, and like this energy that Puen like exudes is everything I need in my life. Talle ends up getting the job at BFB GGN. They go to celebrate at the beach. Here is where the irony happens. They are on the beach, and Talle drowns in the Talle.
Crack, crack, bloop, bloop.
Whoa. Which is interesting because they really set his name up in an interesting way, because his name in the series is Talle. He drowns in the sea, and his name in real life, or his nickname, is also Seay. That's so interesting to me. Like, they really just connected his name throughout everything. That's interesting. He wakes up in a hospital bed, and I guess this is where he becomes Tess, which is the other person that like happened to have something going on, because when he was drowning, it kind of flickered back and forth between him and Tess, which is played by Daddy Om. I'm older than him. I don't know why I'm calling him Daddy. No, He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what's happening. He has these crazy parents. Tale was literally me throughout this like whole scene of him waking up in this unfamiliar place and just being like, who are these people that are in my face right now? Tale tries to like escape from the hospital or whatever. I don't know if this world is dystopian or not, but there is something, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's like a private hospital or whatever, and that's just what it is. But like when he was escaping, it's like everybody literally jumped on him and was like, he's escaping. It was giving trying to keep patience type of thing. And the fact that like his friends and his parents don't believe that he doesn't remember anything. I'm like, how many times have you been through this, Tess? How many times have you like pulled this schnick? Like, no matter what he did, he would be like, oh, I don't remember this. And they'd be like, oh, funny Tess. He meets one of the nurses named Puadal. She basically confirms that yes, you are not in your body, and you are also in another universe. Like, another universe? Bitch, what? She takes him to this association for Thai people in alternate universes or alternate worlds. He meets a bunch of other people that are also from, I guess, maybe his universe or maybe other universes. There are more, y'all. How often does this happen? Is there something going on that I need to know? I would like to point out that the girl that was like looking at him, like sitting on the chair, all uncomfortable, that's me. The energy is the same. Extra and uncomfortable. They explained to Tale that if he were to die, or the person that switched with him were to die in the other universe, then he would die here as well. And considering the person that you switched with seems a little bit like a delinquent, I would have hopes for me surviving much longer, just saying. But basically he has to find his port key, which is someone who has similar interests or some similarity to him. So I wonder what that's gonna be. Like, what is the similarity between him and his port key that he'll find? Maybe it's a memory, or maybe it's like the situation or the event that they were in. I don't know. Maybe. In an effort, he wears this t-shirt talking about something. If you know me, come say hi. Boy, that's a good idea. But considering you're rich, everybody's gonna say hi. Maybe not. I would. Come on, gold digger. This is my gold digger era. Tale looks through Tess's books and stuff, and he finds his yearbook from 2016, and he finds this guy named Pakorn. Looks at his phone, finds his number, calls, and Pakorn hangs up on him immediately. They go back to the club to see what might have happened, check the cameras and stuff, and they see it's Pakorn that called the ambulance on him. Tess over here on the ground with this hot sauce on his face. Side note, can we talk about how they connected the Enchanté universe to this universe? I was like, oh my god, my boys got married. They coming back from Paris. Even though I didn't really like Enchanté that much, I do love their couple. Their couple is cute. Even though, you know, Book's character was, oh my god. Like, oh my god. Next, Tale meets up with Pamot, which looks like Joe, his friend from the other universe, but it's not. So he runs in there calling him Joe, and so he was like, no, stop. Hold there. Who the fuck is Joe? I'm Pamot. Basically, he gets more information on Pakorn. Okay, so I don't know if you guys noticed, everything in this universe is printed on transparency paper. The business cards were transparent. The papers in the book, in the yearbook that Tale was looking through, were transparent. And at the end of the episode, when he confronts Pakorn and he has his screenwrite, the screenwrite is on like transparency paper, which I think is really interesting. I have a theory about that. I'm going to wait until later in the series just to confirm, to maybe make a video on it about the transparency paper. And it might not even be that big of a thing. It might just be a way to tell the universes apart as far as like visually for the watcher, but I have a theory. Moving on, he meets with this guy at this other club. Now, there are some things I've noticed that these worlds are almost exactly opposite, which is interesting in a lot of ways. One, he orders beer, right? And the guy's like, oh my God, expensive, luxurious. I'm over here thinking like, beer? Expensive, luxurious? Maybe not. And then he's like, me, I drink wine all the time because it's cheap. And I'm like, excuse? And he's like, beer is more expensive than wine here. And I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. Then he's like, can I have one? And he's like, oh, that's two. And I'm like, what? That's one. And he's like, no, this is one. This is two. And I'm like, okay. But honestly, like, if we're being honest, that kind of makes sense though, because like 1, 2, 3, like you count from like, you know, so it's like 1, and then if they want 2, oh my God, if they want 3, they're literally flicking somebody off. He sees Pac-Man in that club, and Pac-Man runs away. First, let me backtrack. Pac-Man was singing, and the guy was like, oh, he's the best. And we're like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, Nanon has a beautiful voice. This bitch starts singing off key, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? In this club, in this misery, in this distillery. And he's like, he's the best at singing off key. And I'm like, that's a thing? Okay. Again, opposite. Later, Halle ends up meeting with Tess's brother, and they go to the filmmaking company that his parents own. That's where he meets Pac-Man again. And apparently there's something going on between Pac-Man and Tess, because he's like, I hate you. I don't like you. What happened to y'all? Are we gonna find out in the next episode, like, what's going on? Was there a little lover spat? But yeah, that's where the episode ends, so see you next week. Bye!